I spent New Year at Disneyland Paris and found out they spent $4.4 billion building this place and then made a catastrophic marketing error that basically almost made them bankrupt. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to avoid that same mistake and apply it to your coaching business so that all of your marketing becomes so much easier. Let's do it. And just like that, I'm back here in the warm office. Look, only a quarter of you who actually tune in or subscribe to this show. So make sure that you hit subscribe so I can keep making more and more of this amazing content for you. Now, since my background is in psychology, I'm always tinkering away and playing with adding different psychology into my marketing. And there are 3 principles that I added to my email marketing that multiplied my sales of one of my offers and took it from $27,000 to over $500,000. And I've described that and gone into full detail in a new course of mine called Email Marketing Sorted. And you can get it for free just for tuning into the show by going to emailmarketingsorted.com. Literally, just go to emailmarketingsorted.com or click the link in the description. So, Disney, wow. I mean, what a time we had over New Year. And just like you, Disney had an amazing product. They spent all this money building a brand new park in Europe, just outside of Paris in France, but the marketing almost made them lose the whole damn thing. And I speak to coaches all the time who know you've got something amazing. And you know that if more people knew how amazing your thing was, you know they would buy it. And if that's the case, good news, you've got a marketing problem and we can solve that together. It's not like you've got a product problem. If people really knew how damn good your thing is, you know they would buy it, then that means it's a marketing problem. It's how you're packaging up and presenting what you've got, right? It's not the actual problem itself, but the product itself, right? So let's see what this massive company actually got wrong that we can all learn from, because they spent a lot of money, which means they have a lot of data, which helped them figure this stuff out. The first thing they absolutely cocked up that we can learn as coaches is the name. I see this a lot in the coaching business too. When they first launched Disneyland Paris, it wasn't called Disneyland Paris. It was called Euro Disney. What does that even mean? Is it a knockoff Disney? Is it a real Disney? Is it for American people, Disney brand American, who live in Europe? Or is it for European people? It was very confusing as to who it was for just from the name. So they changed it to Disneyland, Paris. That made it perfect. It was part of the Disney brand and it was located in Paris. The second mistake they made was the actual style itself of the product. So, yes, what they needed to do is they needed to speak to Europeans. They were trying to speak to all these people from France, from Belgium, from the UK, from Germany, from all these beautiful European countries. But everything about it when you got there was super American. It was run by American bosses. All the American directors were there, making it really ship-shape and super tight customer service. Everything was well polished and flawless. But for us Europeans, that feels fake, doesn't feel genuine, and it's really not good for Europeans. There was a cultural clash, okay? Americans in the Disney parks really like things to be super perfect, super tight, pristine uniforms, whereas we like to really feel like there is something human behind all of this, okay? The next thing they really got wrong when they got into the product itself, into the parks, was the pricing. The pricing of everything inside the parks, as is in America, in the Florida and California parks, was all premium. It was, you expect to go to a theme park and basically be rinsed for everything. It's going to be $8 for fries. It's going to be all these premium prices. That doesn't sit well with European culture either, because what Europeans expect is value. To be honest, I was really pleasantly surprised at how reasonable the food and the drinks were in the Disneyland Paris park. Like, I was amazed. Like, I was thinking, yeah, it's slightly premium, but it is definitely nothing compared to what I expected. And for all of these reasons, I preferred the Paris experience to the Disney World, Florida. But then again, I am European. What does it say? We have to know the customer. And I know people say, oh, you have to know the customer, it's kind of boring, right? But think about it. You've got to think about, does everything in in the wrapper of your program say, this is definitely for you. Because when someone's looking at the sales page, when someone's looking at the name, when someone's looking at the content of your program, how you talk about it, the webinar, the sales video, when they look at every email you send about it, what they're actually doing is looking for red flags. They're looking for reasons not to buy, things that just don't align. And that might include currency. If the person is saying, hey, this is a thing for people who are based in Germany, it's based in Germany, but then the currency is, I don't know, American dollars, it's going to be a bit of a disconnect. It's a bit like if I say, hey, this is for Americans, it's based in America, but you're going to buy in euros or British pounds or any of Australian dollars, it's a disconnect. It doesn't feel like it's for you. The name of it, does the name of it sound like it is for you? So if you're targeting women, you probably don't want to have a super macho, masculine name. In most states, there are obviously always exceptions to these things. What about the colors, the color scheme? I know someone who has a very dark, gothic vibe to them. So people who don't like that are going to be put off straight away. And she's going to attract way more people who are into that sort of color scheme and are into that much more dark, spiritual, do things at night, that sort of vibe it is. And does all of everything, every single thing, does it all apply to the person you're trying to target? For example, if you mention stock levels, then you've immediately lost the coaches in the audience because we don't have stock. If you mention bulking and you're in the lose weight crowd, then you've lost that crowd. So here's some questions that I ask myself when I'm really thinking about this. I'm thinking about, okay, first of all, what is the problem that this solves? And oftentimes, most of our programs will solve many problems. Oftentimes, if you're a coach, you are going to be solving mindset problems. You are going to be solving practical problems. You're going to be solving research problems and understanding problems. We're going to be solving lots of things, but what is the main problem that it solves? And figuring out which problem to focus on is going to be part of the testing that we're going to do, right? So one of the things we often will test is what is the primary problem that we are going to put as the headline, as the lead in our ads, as the main thing we're going to talk about. So a great example of this is in my Email Hero Academy membership. There are a bunch of really amazing deliverables, and we're constantly just making sure that we're talking about the right deliverable that most people want. So one of the things that I know that people can be helped with inside of our academy is that you are going to know exactly what to send to your email list every single month, because we give you a brand new package of email frameworks every single month. So you never have to worry about what should I be emailing today, ever. That's one of the main deliverables. But another major deliverable is you get to have a group coaching experience with me where I personally will direct your email marketing for your business, for your products, the way you want to do things. That's a very different experience. So what is and I could be testing both of those two things. And there's actually 3 or 4 more things we could be testing too. And usually the same thing. What is the main problem that your coaching, your course, your membership actually solves? And then within that, I really want you to ask yourself, what are the words that your perfect customer, what are the words they actually use to describe the problem? I read a really good book. I highly recommend it. It's called Clean Language. And it's really about this. They talk about this thing called parrot speaking, right? Don't paraphrase, parrot phrase is one of the things that I remember from reading that book over a decade ago now, maybe a decade ago. And one of the things they talk about is your audience, when they're thinking about something, their subconscious has decided on the particular specific words to describe that problem. Don't then go and change those words, because the words they've chosen are the words that they feel resonates the best for that problem. So what do they use? A great example is we discovered, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, that when I was doing lots of interviews, I'll talk about interviews in a second, but when I was interviewing a lot of some potential clients, they never used the word profit, ever. Nobody ever talked about profit to me. They talked about sales. They talked about having cash in the bank. They talked about bringing in clients. They never said profit. So we never say profit in any of our marketing ever, because we want to use the exact words that resonate with that audience. The third question I ask is, when will they get a result? What is the timeline that we can promise a result on? That result might be number of views. It might be launching a thing, pressing go, losing a certain amount amount of weight, so all these kind of things, okay? So what was a good timeline for seeing something happening? Next question is, what have they actually tried before? Most people, when they come to you, this is not their first rodeo. This is not the first time they've tried to solve this problem. So what have they tried before? And ask yourself, what is the thing they think they have to do to get the result, but they really don't want to? So a great example of this is when people come to me and they're watching my videos and they come into my programs, they think that in order to grow their business, they need to grow their email list and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads or meta ads or something. And the thing that I know people don't have to do is have a big email list. So when I talk to people about this, I say, you don't need a bigger email list. You just need to do a better job of monetizing and making sales from the people who are already on your list, who've already collected, who are already joining. Big sigh of relief. So most people think something about what it is that you do. If you teach something musical, they might think that they already have to have some kind of musical ability, or they already have to have an instrument, or something like this. Show them they don't need to do that. Next, what are the reasons they have failed so far? Is it because of their own ability? Is it because the process was too complicated? What are the reasons they failed so far? I used to date someone who she was in the fitness space, and she was very much about clean eating and having to do that 100% of the time. And it's really unreasonable to ask anybody to eat clean 100% of the time. It was very unachievable for her clients and for her, right? So nobody could do it. So it felt like a big uphill battle to expect people to even buy into this idea of clean eating and only eating, protein and veg and having no processed or complex carbs. Like that's impossible. So they failed before because in this case, the expectation of the process was way too difficult to be practical in a real person's life. When they've got kids and they've got social lives, they've got birthday parties, they've got Christmas parties, they've got all these things going on in their lives. It's not realistic. Think about, where is this person? Where are they? And where are they really will help you understand things like currency, time zones, for example, is another one. Like if you're saying, hey, this is for the American market, but then you put on a live event and it starts at 2 a.m. Pacific time, then it's not again, that's that red flag that makes you go, I thought this was for me, but actually it's really not for me, right? I had that recently. I was enrolling in a program with Tony Robbins, and the program starts at I think is it 2 p.m. UK time? It doesn't finish till midnight. And I said to the guy, I even said to him, is this going to be relevant for me in the UK? Because obviously the stuff that we're talking about, it's a financial program. It's about finance and personal finance, because it's the thing I'm currently wanting to go deep on. And I said to him, is this even going to be relevant to me in the UK? The thing that triggered that thought about whether the financial systems that he's going to be teaching in this program are going to be relevant to me in the UK was the time zone. The fact that I realized it wasn't finishing until midnight, and that seemed like a very late night for me, because I like to be in bed for 9:30 p.m. if I can be. Another one to do with where people are located is turns of phrase. Even if they're another area who speaks the same language as you, maybe they also speak Spanish, or maybe they also speak English, or maybe whatever it's going to be, but we use phrases differently. A perfect example is the difference between the UK, where we express the date, versus America. So you might, if you're targeting an American audience, you might say October 9th, whereas in the UK, we'd say the 9th of October. These little subtle clues are the things that are saying to your audience, this is for you. So how do you figure these things out? What we're going to do is we're going to do the scary thing, and I know it sounds really scary, but I'm going to really encourage you to do it, and that is, I want you to go and interview 2 groups of people. Literally get on Zoom calls and talk to 2 groups of people. The first group of people you want to talk to is buyers, people who have bought from you, who have bought this program from you, or who have bought other programs from you, and speak to them. Find out what language the people who buy from you are using. Find out all the things that we've just been talking about. The second group of people are non-buyers, people who are showing interest. You can see from your emails, they're opening your emails, they're clicking on the links in your emails, they're going to your sales page, or they're going to the application page, and they're just not enrolling. They're not applying for a call, or they are applying for a call, but they're getting on the sales call and they're not converting, and we want to speak to them. So we're going to send them a really simple email. Here's the kind of email that I send. It just says, hi, Sam, really odd request for you. Hope you don't mind. So I noticed you checked out my automated email engine program. so the name of your program, but you haven't jumped in yet. And for what I can see, you're the exact kind of person I created it for. But it's a new offer I've just launched, and so I wondered if I could steal 20 minutes of your time on a Zoom call this week to ask you a few questions. This won't be a sales pitch, it's just to help me understand how I can improve the messaging. Would you have 20 minutes this week if I send you my calendar link over, right? Now, when you do that, when you send that message over, you're going to get some people replying going, yes, please. Notice I don't say, here's my calendar link, book in. I want this to be very human. The person comes back, I tell them it's not going to be a sales pitch. All the paragraphs are really short. It's overcoming this objection of like, oh, this person's trying to sell to me. This is really you trying to get on that call to ask those questions we talked about earlier. So this is what we have to do. This is what Disney did not do. It didn't consider the culture of the audience. And that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the culture of your audience. Using all the questions we've talked about, we're going to understand how do they think, what are the words they use, what are the problems they're facing, how do they describe them, and why are they paralyzed from taking action to go to the next level and actually fix the problem that they've obviously got. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in your world. Now, of course, to send these emails, we need to have a subject line that actually gets the email open. If you want to know the exact email subject line formula that I'd use for this email, check out this video here where I share with you a really unconventional subject line method that is absolutely crushing it. See you next week.